Which colleges might you advise your sons to attend if they wanted a liberal education unconstrained by critical theory? How might you advise them to communicate with those thus constrained?
Well, I think this is a good time to talk about cryogenics and the possibility that you may want to put your children into cold storage until we have generated a new academy that doesn't suck quite so much. Is that the wrong answer? Because that's certainly...
I like the question. I obviously resurrected it from last week, but I don't have an answer. Until 2 years ago or so, I was saying University of Chicago, it's the first, it's standing strong, etc. But there's plenty to indicate that Chicago itself is cracking from within in many regards. I do not have a good answer at this point. The truly experimental colleges are likely to be just as roiled by this. Evergreen was one of them.
Yep.
And I think unfortunately the sort of the state schools, like the ag schools and such, or the schools that were originally land grant colleges, are like everywhere. The science departments are going to fall last, and maybe the art departments as well. But the people being hired out of PhD programs in many of the social sciences and humanities at this point, those fields are so captured, so corrupted, that I don't know how you would hire faculty that don't have this virus in them. So, if you know what field you're interested in studying, and frankly, I don't think it's a great idea to know at 18 to be certain that you really know what it is that you want to be studying. You should be trying to be a generalist at that point. But if you really have a sense of like, I want to do, architecture or literature or chemistry or whatever it is, potentially looking, bizarrely, this is like the opposite advice I would have given 10, 20 years ago, but looking for a department with older faculty who may have at least gotten through their own academic training before this was quite so pervasive, might be one approach. But that doesn't address the fact that administrators, I did some research a couple years ago. It's published on as a piece called On College Presidents, in which I looked at the demographics of college presidents from a survey that's been sent out since the 70s, every 6 to 10 years or so, and the academic fields to which college presidents belong has been skewing more and more towards exactly these fields that are more and more woke, and that's more true, unfortunately, the less elite the institution is. And so the R1s, the big research granting universities, especially the ones whose names everyone knows, are more likely to have someone at the helm who might be a scientist. And the community colleges are more likely to have people, frankly, who got their degrees, their higher degrees, their terminal degrees from ed schools, and schools of ed are well captured.
Yeah, I think in some sense this battle is over, and the trajectory is very clear. There's nothing on the horizon that solves this. Academia was first to fall. It is the most deeply corrupted of the institutions, I think, and ultimately something will replace it or it will be resurrected, but that's not on the horizon. So I think I would separate the question into two things. Why are you going to college? You're going to college to get a degree because you need it. That might change to the extent that the people who come out of colleges will be lobotomized by the insanity that's going on there. Presumably employers will wise up and stop requiring it and maybe even prefer people who didn't do that. And then there's the question of what you will do to substitute for what you would have learned in college. And the answer is that you can do a lot about, right? There's a ton you can do to get the equivalent of a college education without attending college or paying for it. So if we can separate those two things and correctly read the tea leaves that a college education is not going to be mandatory in a world where what passes for a college education is subscribing to bullshit, you can at least just limit yourself to the second question, which is how am I going to end up with skills and insight that I'm going to need. And that you can do on your own. You
So
really
just
can.
to summarize your point, there's a credentialing issue and there's an actual skills and knowledge issue. And they are increasingly separable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And your tools for sourcing your own knowledge, insight, and skills are better than ever. Right. So, the number of things people will teach you on YouTube is incredible if you can figure out how to sort the wheat from the chaff.
The next question is related. Would you consider offering online courses with Zoom lectures, syllabus, writing assignments, etc.? I believe many would pay market tuition. So we've thought about something like this in the past, and it's still a possibility. It's not an active project at the moment, but
we have thought about.
We've certainly thought about actually doing field trips, extended field trips that include curriculum in advance, and
yeah. I think field trips would be the most natural for us, the most fun and interesting.
Yeah.
But from the point of view of offering something that College 2.0, there is that idea is definitely live, even though the project is at the moment not.
So can we promise if we do decide to do field trips that no one has to eat macaw?
It depends. If things go really wrong, no promises.
All bets are off.
Yeah,
sure.
All bets are off.
But we'll do everything we can.
I mean, macaw is well above cannibalism.
True.
Yeah.
And we won't, none of the paying customers will be macaws, so we'll keep that line really bright.
Yeah, I got to say, I think that pattern will carry over from the past into the future almost no matter what.
True.